Now, this week of organizing Christmas can be a little bit of a double-edged sword because on one hand, you have a game plan. You have checklists and planners and worksheets and organizers to manage all of the things that you have to manage. And on the other hand, now you are very acutely aware of how much you have to manage and how much we manage in a holiday season. And that can feel a little overwhelming. And so today is all about taming the to-do list. How do we take all of these details and tasks that we need to accomplish and systematically get them into our to-do list, our task list, so that we don't forget them and that we can strategically work through them? Well, I'm so glad that you asked because we have a proven system for managing your to-do list. And once you start to practice it and get used to it, you're never, ever, ever going to want to go back. And we're going to share that with you today. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to share with you my proven system for taming the to-do list, a very practical system for managing your tasks so that you don't forget anything and feel in control of this holiday season. And then for our trash bag toss today, we're going to talk about the bag of blessing, where we can actually bag up some donations that are going to be a huge blessing to others. And then we'll do an extended time of Q&A to make sure we have all of your holiday questions answered and that you feel prepared to take on the holidays. All right, so let's talk about our system for taming your to-do list. I really want to reiterate this again, that the holidays aren't stressful because we have too much to do. They're stressful because we have too many things floating around that we are not systematically getting worked into our calendar and our to-do list. And so it's not necessarily, we can do a lot, we can manage a lot if we feel that we are in control of it and we have a clear plan. Then we are being proactive. It's when we get behind, we're caught reacting, it's, oh, I forgot that. It's not being able to fall asleep at night because these random tasks or items you forgot to buy keep popping into your head. That's horrible. That feels so gross. And again, what do we tell ourselves? I suck at this. There's something wrong with me. Other people can do this, but I can't seem to figure it out. No, there is nothing wrong with you. You have just been trying to manage too much mental inventory. So we have to get it all into one place. Now, again, we have a very proven system. I've been practicing this with the women in our membership group. So I'm going to show you kind of an inside look at how I personally manage my to-do list and the tools that I use. And then you can take that framework or that structure and then fit it to how you're wired and how you like to manage your list. How does that sound? Okay, so let me give you a quick overview of the steps and then we will go through them, and I'm literally going to show you inside of my to-do list. Okay, so the structure is capture, sort, complete. Capture, sort, complete. Okay, so step number one is capture. This means that anytime a thought comes into our brain, any task, idea, errand, thing you need to buy, that gets captured and it goes into one trusted place where you know that it's going to be kept safe. And so the goal isn't to be necessarily more productive, it is to create mental rest. It's for your brain to be able to say, whew, there's still things to do, but they're all captured, they're all there. So I don't have to worry and I don't have to keep running them through my brain because they're captured. They're in one trusted place. The idea is that when everything is captured in one trusted place, your brain finally gets to relax. And you'll experience this. This is what I feel every day. My to-do list is never done, but because everything is captured, I can feel at peace at the end of the day. And so the key idea here that we need to remember is that our brain is for ideas, not storage. Our brain is for ideas and problem solving, not storage. And so when we stop relying on our memory to remember all these things, then we can finally focus and be very strategic about what it is that we're doing. And we'll talk about that in the next step of sorting. And this idea of capturing everything, it actually comes from a book and a system called Getting Things Done. And so it was developed by a gentleman, and it was really for corporate professionals, but we've been able to take the concepts of it and apply it to running a household. And it definitely works for things that you manage at work as well. So you'll see how you can definitely use it both places. So number one, we're capturing. And so we want to have one central trusted place where all of this goes. For me, I use the To-Do app. It kind of has unique spelling. I'll put it here on the screen. It's inexpensive. You can use it on your phone, tablet, desktop computer. And this is something that we have been testing out and trying out in our membership community for the past year. We have tried every different system and location, lots of different apps and Google Keep and Google Tasks, Todoist, all kinds of different things. And collectively, what we have arrived at is that the to-do app is the best for the most of us. So when you log in, you're going to notice a couple different areas. Up at the top is where you can keep your task list or your to-do list. And it's really nice because you can just slide stuff around from one day to another and spread things out. And then down at the bottom, they call these category lists. And you can use these in a number of different ways. And there's tabs here to help you organize them. So I have one for household and for my shopping lists. You could also create one for meal planning if you wanted to. And you can also create one for the holidays if you find that helpful as well. But it is digital, and some are like, I don't do digital. That's fine. You can also use a pen and paper. So your one trusted place might be a notebook or a planner. It's just very important that you always have it with you during these next couple of months. That's what makes the digital option a little more convenient. We always have our phones with us, but if you're not ready to go there, totally fine. I have converted hundreds of women, by the way, but we might not have enough trust built up yet, so it's fine. If you want to check out the To-Do app, there's a link in the description. There, you can try it free for a week and whatnot, and then beyond that, it's a few dollars a month. So it's a pretty low investment for how awesome it is and how much it helps us. Okay, so we're capturing everything into one trusted place. And so all that means is that when something pops into my brain, oh, we need toilet paper, I pull up my To-Do app and I type it in. Now, I'm not organizing it. We're gonna get to that in the next step of sorting, but I'm just capturing. All I worry about is capturing. Oh, Adeline just told me they need this. Okay, I'm capturing it. Oh, remember to get this at Walmart. Okay, I'm capturing that. Oh, I have to call and schedule an ortho for Gage. I'm capturing that. So no matter where you are, anytime something pops into your head for something that you need to do, you need to remember, an idea that you have, something that you need to buy, or an errand, it all goes into here, your one trusted place. So we enter it in quick, and you don't do that thing where you're like, oh, I'll remember it and I'll enter it or write it down later. No, especially not during the holidays. No, that's defeating the whole system. Your brain cannot handle that right now. Your brain is stressed and overwhelmed. We're trying to relieve the stress. Don't make your poor brain try to remember something. No, this is something we practice, but as soon as it pops into your head, put it onto your list. We're not sorting it. You don't have to get it into a category. You're literally just pulling out your phone and entering it in, saving it, and going on. And then I'll show you how we're gonna sort it. Okay, so we capture everything. Even if you think it's very small, doesn't matter. Even if it's something that's gonna have to happen in January, great. Capture it, and then we're going to sort it out. All right, so step number one, we capture into one trusted place. Step number two, this is where we come back and sort. Okay, so what I wanna do is I actually wanna show you inside of my to-do. And so when you log in, this is what it's going to look like. And please know, it is very simple to set up. This is why we chose it. Again, our brains are overwhelmed and stressed out. We don't have a lot of bandwidth to learn something new, especially right before the holidays. So if I thought this was too complicated or too in-depth, I would not be sharing this with you right now. Like, that would be unkind, right? But I believe this is something that you can set up and start practicing right away, and you're gonna find that it's very easy, natural, and intuitive. Okay, so we come in here, and anything that you have entered over the last day or so, you're gonna see pop up on the current day. So we log in, we look at all of the things that we have captured, and now we're just gonna do a quick sort. Now you're going to notice when you log into To-Do that anything you've added, especially if you add it from your phone, it's just going on to the current day. So you can log in and be like, oh, there's a bunch of items on here, but these are what we're going to sort. And so we're going to sort them into their proper location. And so Walmart can go down to errands. Amazon returns can go down to errands. Toilet paper, I'm going to click over to my shopping list, and then I can add this one down to errands. You could also, even within errands, arrange them in the order that you want to do them or order of most important. Here's another shopping list item. And then now I'm back to just actual tasks. And so down along the bottom, they have different category lists, and you can set different tabs for it. So I have one set up for household, and then I have one set up for shopping lists. And what we want to do is use this main area where the days are as our to-do list or our task list for the day. Now, when we initially start capturing, you're gonna have a ton of stuff on here, and that can feel very overwhelming when you log in. So what we actually wanna do is to create a 3-item to-do list for the day. Scientifically proven that a list longer than that is very unlikely to be finished. 3 items, however, our brain says, oh, I can do that. And so in the next step, we'll talk about how we prioritize what are the top 3 things that go up there. But again, when I log in and I I log into my app and I'm seeing all these things here, when I'm sorting, my goal is to get everything into its proper category and to shorten my to-do list for the day. Now, again, because we want to keep a 3-item task list, I could slide things over to another day, or I could also slide them down here. Now, the concern is sometimes that you're going to forget to check this, but I promise you won't. Once you get through your 3 items, then I like to either look ahead to the next day, or I come right down here and check to see what is next. And again, I love that you can just rearrange things depending on what your day looks like. So anything that's not absolutely necessary that has to happen today, I don't want to leave up there in that day. So anything that I need to get from Target, I'm sliding it down there. The dollar store, I'm sliding it down there. If I have any ideas, this is a great place to store your ideas too. You can create a category and you just slide them down into there. And there's lots of other things. Again, we go into much more depth in this inside of our membership community, but even things like if someone recommends a TV show, where do you keep that? Or a book to read. And so I have lists for all of those things. What about a subscription that you sign up for and you don't want to forget to cancel? I have a category for subscriptions. So again, this becomes one central trusted place where we're keeping everything. And so throughout the day we're capturing, and then we come into here and we're just doing a quick sort to get it to where it needs to go. And under my categories, under our household, I also have my B priorities. So what's up on top, I consider my A priorities. A is a has to do today. B is a nice to do today. And so anything that doesn't have to be done today, I'm sliding down to my B priorities. And then from there, I can pull stuff up. And that is the beauty of to do, is that we can drag and drop things and slide things around. If your day goes off the rails, it's okay. Stuff will automatically forward to the next day. We don't have that luxury with pen and paper. If my day goes off the rails in pen and paper, I have to scribble it out or I have to rewrite it. And it starts to get very messy. No, to do is so forgiving into life going cray cray. So I really like that about it. So we're sorting stuff and getting it into its proper categories in here. If this is feeling at all intimidating or overwhelming, I want to encourage you that often you just have to get in here and try it out. Until you actually start doing it, it might not make a lot of sense, but once you get in here, I think you're going to start to see that it's very simple and you'll see how you can slide things into place. Okay, so I've been sorting things out, and now it's time to complete things or prioritize them. Now, if I only want to have 3 tasks on my to-do list for today, and I know you're thinking like, Dawn, I have way more than that to do. So what we do is we start with 3, and then once we get those done, we slide more stuff up. Okay, so I'm looking at Thursday here and I need to pick the top 3 things. And so when I'm prioritizing the things I need to complete today, I'm trying to decide what's urgent versus important. So urgent means that it's time sensitive, usually tied to someone else's deadline, like pay the bill, return the library books, bring a snack to soccer tonight. Versus what's important, which it might be something that moves you towards your long-term goals or supports your values, like meal plans so the week runs smoother, or 10 minutes of decluttering the entryway, planning a family night. And so it's still important, but it's not urgent. And so what you're gonna realize is that urgent things scream the loudest, important things tend to quietly nag. So when we're making our 3-item to-do list for today, we first want to look at what is most urgent, but also look at your energy and bandwidth for the day and select your additional tasks based on what are important. So first, what 1 or 2 things are urgent today that have to be done, and then from there, picking something that's important that matches my energy level for the day. If you're feeling at all stuck between tasks, I think it's important to remember that this is something we practice. Prioritizing is something we practice. We all think we should get the tool and the skill and just be good at it. No, this is actually something that we practice and you get much better at over time. I'm a pro at this now, but I have been practicing it for many years. So when you're stuck between tasks, try asking yourself, if I only did one thing today, what would make the biggest difference tomorrow? Or this one's good too. Which of these things, if left undone, will cause the most stress or consequence? So if I don't pay this bill, is there going to be a late fee, or is my electricity going to get turned off? If I don't buy this gift today, am I not going to be able to mail it in time to get to my family member? So often we're looking at what has the biggest consequence. And you might find that, in January doing my taxes, it could kind of keep getting pushed down. It wasn't a priority. However, the first week in April, now all of a sudden it has to stay at the top of my list. It's gone from important to urgent. So that's what can sometimes be a little confusing about all of this, is that it can change from day to day and week to week. Something that wasn't urgent last week now all of a sudden is, because of the consequence that's tied to it. Okay, so again, we captured everything. We got it into one trusted location. We didn't do that thing where you say, oh, I'll just remember it. No, your brain is horrible at remembering things. It's not because you have a bad memory. Our brains are not designed to remember a bunch of random things. So we're capturing everything into one trusted location. Then we're sorting it out and getting it to where it needs to go. And then lastly, we're prioritizing and picking 3 things to complete for the day. Now, again, there's a lot more ways that you can use the to-do app. We can set up recurring tasks to really maximize the categories at the bottom, but that's not where the peace of mind comes from. The peace of mind comes from knowing that everything that you have to do and manage right now is all organized in one central location. And again, until you do it, until you fully brain dump everything that's been floating out here into one trusted location, I don't think you'll understand how much peace of mind it brings. So this is where you might have to trust me, take a little bit of a leap of faith and try this out. Again, whether you're using the to-do app or just a notebook and pen and paper, try this out for yourself, practice it for a week, and I think you are gonna be amazed at the difference that it makes. And in fact, recently when I polled our membership group and I said, hey, of all the household tasks that we've been getting in order, our cleaning routines and meal planning and managing our to-do list and our calendar, what has made the biggest difference in your life? And this was it. It was managing their to-do lists. And so again, we have a proven system that works beautifully, but it takes practice. You'll forget to capture something, you'll overfill your to-do list for the day, or you'll open it and see everything on there and you'll feel behind. But remember, that's completely normal because you're learning and practicing a new habit. And if you want a little more help in this area and accountability and others to come alongside you, this is what we do week in and week out inside of our membership community. In fact, every Saturday morning, we spend an hour together practicing things like this together. And right now it's on special for only $22 a month. 30-day money back guarantee. I will assume all of the risk, but I believe so strongly that it'll help you and you can cancel anytime. All right, so we are taming the to-do list. Now I think it's time to get up and move around, and let's spend a little bit of time thinking about how we could help others. So for our trash bag toss today, we want to see how much stuff we can find and move out of our house that could make a difference in other people's lives. All right, now today we are trading in our black trash bags for a white one because we want to look for donations, specifically donations that could help others this time of year. So let's talk about things like hats, boots, coats, mittens, especially if you live in a cold weather climate, kids' clothes, our own clothes, but also we'll touch on kids' toys as well because this is the absolute best time of year to declutter kids' toys. So what's remarkable, even here in the boys' bedroom, I am seeing plenty of things to donate. So even things like blankets, isn't it remarkable? I don't know, do blankets multiply in your house too? It's just why we get extra blankets. And I don't, like, the mindset shift I have made is that I don't want to keep things for just in case if someone else could be making use of it right now. And so a couple of years ago, we had our basement flooded and a bunch of stuff got wet and got ruined. And I just remember as I was bagging it up, the garbage and everything, being like, what a waste. Someone else could have made use of this while I was storing it in our basement for just in case it went bad and somebody else could have been using it. Now no one got to use it. And I feel like as I have lived more open-handed with my physical possessions, again, for the last 10 years, I've lived with so little. I've never gone without, and anytime I've needed something, it tends to find its way to me. It's a really interesting thing that happens, but there is something when we're living like this and not like this with our stuff. Well, I've had way more happiness, so much more joy and happiness and peace in our house, so much more confidence in myself, but I have no fear of lack or not having enough. And again, we grew up very frugally, and so that has been a big mindset shift for me. Like, you kept things like just in case you would need them, right? And so it's been a big mindset shift, but it has been so freeing. And especially this time of year, and as we're wanting to model things to our kids of like how we can help others, this is a great way to do so. So any kind of extra blankets, kids' clothes, we just went through the boys' clothes recently, and even I came across this like really nice heavy shirt that I thought Gage was gonna love, and he's never wore it. It was from Eddie Bauer even. I'm like, this is such a nice shirt. I wish I had one in my size. It gets so cold here. Never wore it. ever. And I'm like, why? Why do I keep putting it back in his drawer thinking he's magically someday going to wear it? No, that's not how it works, right? If we're not wearing it and using it now, probably we never are. Now, keep a little extra, but most of us are keeping way, 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 way more than we could ever need. All right, now kids' toys. This time of year is the absolute best time to be decluttering kids' toys because there's the hope of new toys coming in. And so I would challenge each of your kids to fill up a bag on their own for toys that others could use. Now, some parents take different approaches. Some will say, hey, fill up a bag and I'll give you $5 for it. I've said, fill up a box, I'll give you $5. And sometimes people are like, are you like bribing them or what? I'm like, no, it's just a value exchange. It lets me know where their value is for that stuff. If they'll fill up a whole box of stuff and give it to me for $5, that means they've lost value for it. They're not going to put their most favorite treasures in there. They're putting in things that they just don't care about that much anymore. You could also, if they have some extra valuable things, help them sell it on Marketplace. But again, only if you have the bandwidth for that. But however you go about it, this really is the best time of year. And sometimes I think we worry that, oh, our kids are so attached to things. Actually, if we're giving them permission to let them go, each of our kids can be wired a little bit differently. But a lot of them are very willing to let go of stuff, especially again, when they know new stuff is coming in. Now, generally, if you have more than one kid, you have one that is like super attached to their things. And we have one of those as well. So I'm a little more gentle with the process with him. I understand he doesn't get rid of as much in any given time as the other kids do. But as we have practiced this year in and year out, the kids just box up stuff and bring it to me on their own now. It's like a non-issue in our house. So again, this is one of those things that we're just going to keep practicing. It's going to get a little bit better each year, but most of us do need to make a little extra room in this department. So get your white trash bags or your donation boxes and let's see how much stuff we can find that could help others this time of year. But again, the key is we got to get it out right away. So we're not going to pile it up in the garage. We're not going to drive around with it in our car forever and ever. Put it on your to-do list, right? We're going to get it out and get it dropped off this week yet. And that is going to feel so good. All right. Well, we're going to take kind of some extended time to answer your questions today. There's so many good questions yesterday about family dynamics and get-togethers and what to say when. So I was glad for that time together. So today it can be questions about, let's try and start first with like holiday related. And then if we want to move into some more like general decluttering questions, I'm more than happy to help answer those types of questions as well. So if you're joining us live, if you want to throw a question mark in front of it, it does make it just a little bit easier for me to see outside of your other conversations going on that are so helpful. So yeah, whoops. Dawn is always right, and although it can be annoying, it is a blessing to us too. The joke inside of our membership community is, I didn't think what Dawn was saying. I didn't think it would be right, and then I tried it, and it was right. So it's an ongoing joke that Dawn was right, but I'm not always right. And it's, so many of the things that I have learned and now I'm able to teach, I learned through the women inside of our membership community. It has been like this just like super cool mastermind. And so they're sweet to say, oh, Dawn's right and she knows everything or whatever, but it's really like collective, like the power of collective wisdom that I love. Shelly says, can you do a little demo of the phone version of To Do? I don't know how well this would show up on my phone, but I do have a shortcut right on my first screen. Did you also know you can make all your icons the same color on an iPhone? I don't know if it works on other phones too. It just kind of is a little simpler for my brain. But when you click on To Do, I only use it for capturing. And then if you just click the plus, then you can go ahead and type in toilet paper and then save. And then it's added to your list. So something we talk a lot about is that I generally only use my phone for capturing. So for just, anytime something pops into my head, entering it. And then I go to my desktop to sort things out. You can sort on your phone. It's possible. It's just not as convenient. And so that's how I like to use it. I start my work day, every morning looking at my to-do, arranging it, making sure I have my priorities for the day, making sure it matches, like if anything came up or whatnot. So that's how I use them in conjunction. It's a very simple interface, and that's what I really, really like about it. Where did you get your wrapping station? That was all off Amazon, and so it is linked in my Amazon store. And so I have different lists for different gifts for different categories, what I'm wearing this holiday season, and then also all the gift wrap stuff is in its own list as well. But if you need help finding anything, you can just email support at theminimalmom.com too, and we are more than happy to help you. My husband and I are resellers. We do have to keep inventory, but he leaves his stuff everywhere and it drives me crazy. How do I manage this? So it really depends. I mean, we always want to declutter first, simplify the inventory. Is all the inventory you have right now, do you have to have it? Are there things that you can let go of? And then this is the hard part. It comes to the habit of maintaining. And so is it we tidy up at the end of every day? With younger kids, I like to tie it to mealtime. At dinner time, it was just known. I would head into the kitchen to start cooking dinner, or Adeline would. We would kind of tag team. And then the other kids, it was like their zones. And if Adeline was cooking, I was cleaning the kitchen, or vice versa. And so we would tie the habits to that. But often in the beginning, to create a habit like that, you have to have like reminders set up on your phone. You have to have a conversation with him about it. Hey, I'm learning that clutter is stressful. Did you know it actually releases stress hormones in our body? And, I would imagine, reselling, it's helpful if you're fairly organized with it. And so just telling him what you're learning, what you're starting to value. Could we try this out? Could we do an experiment? That type of language, more collaborative, is usually can be helpful, but you might have to have multiple conversations about it. How often do you go through holiday stuff just at the holidays? Yeah, for us, it is just at the holidays. But we have gotten pretty good at being aware of what's getting used and what's not. And so again, this is just something for that we keep practicing. How much do you have for Christmas? Meaning how many tubs, boxes, how much is too much? And so I don't think there is such thing as too much. I think we each have a level of inventory for Christmas stuff that is best for us. And so I think my mom's is pared down to 6 totes now. She's good about labeling them like 1 of 6, 2 of 6. So that's helpful when we bring them out. We know we have everything. Um, but I think, can you hang on just 1 second? Thank you. Um, so this again is something we can keep, improving from season to season, getting down to how many you think is manageable. But knowing if in any area we want to have more inventory of books or craft supplies or Christmas decor, then usually we want to lower the inventory in other areas of our house so that we can accommodate it. How to message generational torch passing off holidays. Grandma no longer doing it. It's now grandkids, us, and we want informal and trim extended family that we don't see more than one time a year. Yes. So again, we have to start talking about it, right? And like I mean, I would find out who are your allies in the family and creating a game plan. And again, does it have to be all or nothing? Can we make a transition plan where we slowly change the traditions? Sometimes we just do think it has to be all or nothing. So can you challenge yourselves to kind of come up with a transition plan? But important, like again, we'd rather choose guilt over resentment, like John talked about yesterday. Jesselyn says, when you've done everything to control all the things you can, what are your best tips to deal with the worry, anxiety going into those situations? I wish it was as easy as just not worrying. No, I'm glad you brought that up, Jesselyn, and I'm glad that Dr. John Deloney also said, whichever day it was, that this is something that we practice. But I do think that having an awareness around it, when yesterday we talked about the tribe analogy, if we can kind of separate ourselves from it, like, oh, they're protecting their tribe, they're protecting their values, they don't want to get plundered, right? They want to carry on their torch of their values, right? um I think that can begin to help, and I do think this is something that improves over time. Even when I was telling, the story of my mom yesterday and this aunt that just like up and stopped talking to her, as I was thinking back about it some more yesterday, that had been a pretty tough dynamic for many years leading up to that. And so I think my mom had been even practicing up until that point, creating some distance with her, knowing who she could go talk to at the gatherings, going and like finding a spot over there to sit, so she didn't accidentally get sat next to her, and all of that kind of stuff. So I do think us having the awareness, starting to learn some of these tools, it might not fix it all for this year, but I hope that it starts to make it a little more comfortable at least. What are good things for adults to declutter this time a year in a practical sense? Something that might be necessary for someone else or that is extra appreciated by the second shops. I'm glad you asked that, Daniela. So, inside of our printables, we actually do have a more Oh, it's outside. We do have a more robust list in there for the bag of blessing for today, but certainly clothing, toiletries, if you could get them to a shelter, new toiletries, that you just have extra of sample sizes of things they will take. And, sometimes the barrier is I don't know what they take. I literally just Googled like women's shelter in our area, and right on their website, they had what they accepted and what they didn't, and where to drop it off and all of that. So they actually, I mean, a lot of people ask about these now. So they had it. It was pretty easy to see like what their rules were around it. And I really appreciated that. Polite way to say no when your boss asks you to host Christmas office party since your house is decorated, but you don't feel comfortable with everyone in your home. Yes. Oh, that's a good one, Shelly. So I would probably say, wow, I am so honored that you would think of me and think my home would be a great fit for this. However, this year I just don't think that we have the extra energy that would go into it, or something like that. Or, I love hosting, but I'm also aware of how much extra energy that takes. So thank you so much for thinking of me. I wouldn't be able to do it this year and do it well. And so something like that. Again, this could be also something you throw into Chat GPT and ask for some helpful, and you can ask them for like, give me a multiple options of something that I could say. But Shelly, hold your ground on this one, right? We're choosing guilt over resentment. And I mean, I would hope you wouldn't fear of it like compromising your job situation or anything. Let's see, which to-do app on the iPhone? So if you'll look at the unique spelling of it, otherwise I know some of our coaches are on, they might be able to help with that specific question too. What's the simplest family habit you recommend? 5 minutes matters. Yes. If you do nothing else, if you have kids in the house, if you will set the timer for 5 minutes and everybody commit to doing a 5 minute pickup, when you think about multiplying efforts, with when there was five of us doing that, that's 25 minutes of work. Now, with the caveat that in the beginning, it's like 0, 0, 1, and 0 minutes of work until I really got them like firing it on all cylinders, right? And you get through that. I have to go to the bathroom. I need a snack. They go upstairs and they disappear, right? Like all of those things will happen. But if you will practice it, man, when we got that dialed in, it was so cool how fast the house came together, and that the kids were taking ownership, that they're learning valuable skills, that they're feeling part of a team. And so, yes, I think that would be a great way to start. There's a friend in our group too. She'll put on Tabata music. And so if you're not familiar, it's God, what is the rotation? It's like work for 20 seconds, rest for 10 seconds, and then they'll freeze and then they'll go on. So if you have little kids, that can be a really fun variation on it as well. Where should I start to see an improvement in taking control of my house? Should it be a small space or a more obvious area? If you're asking me where to start, it would be your kitchen. Clear your kitchen counters and protect that, especially as we go through the holidays. And then if you have more bandwidth than that, definitely like getting the floor in your master bedroom cleared off and your bathroom dialed in so it's really easy to get ready. I'm doing my YouTube video for today is like speed cleaning, and I'm showing the bathroom, and it still is remarkable to me, even like I mean, six of us will get ready in there and how quickly we can pull it back together. And so, really look at your high traffic areas right now, your entryway. And, we're not trying to make them perfect. We're just trying to make them a whole lot easier. Speaking of inventory, how does one determine how much inventory is the right amount for your home? Talking general inventory for a living a functional and comfortable life. So for me, it was I wanted my house to feel easy. I didn't know if that was possible in the beginning. Now I know that it is. And so you want your house to be easy. There should be an ease about it. It was even I think last night my brother we were talking and he's like, "Isn't it funny how he's like when no one's around, he'll get these days when like neither my parents and I are around the house." And he was like, he's like, it's peaceful here. And I find myself, he's like, I'll just be like, well, I'm just gonna, I want to eat something healthy for breakfast. And then, I'm gonna go throw a load of laundry in. And then, well, I'm just gonna pick up quick. And
that's how it gets. I feel like once your house is decluttered and simplified, that you just have this like natural urge to want to keep it in order. And again, I'm a messy person, right? I've always have been a messy person. I like to call it creative. But that was never ever my natural inclination. But you'll find yourself both when you're just in a good mood and you're like, oh, it just feels good to pull everything together. Or now, if I start to feel a little stressed or anxious, I'm like, oh, I got to bring my physical environment into order, because when I do that, I know it helps bring my mental environment into order. And it becomes this very like natural urge. But if our house is super cluttered up, that is not the natural urge, because we don't get the satisfaction and reward, the dopamine hit of it being done. We get a little bit, but it's not nearly as rewarding. And so it's like, well, why would I even bother when it's not going to make a difference? And I know we've all thought that and felt that. So I would just keep decluttering until your house feels easy. What are we getting our spouses this year? Could use some ideas for hubbies. Well, if possible, I would opt out of that gift exchange. I mean, we did that long before, like when now it's a non-issue, but that yeah, I would. Is it important now? If their love language is gifts, then yes, I do think it is important. Do we have to? I've seen so many women in the comments that are like, we went away from it. It was awesome. And so that. Otherwise, if you all want to go ahead and brainstorm some things in the comments. Hmm. Did your new Christmas decor go in your Amazon store? I could not find it. What? Oh, I thought there should be a whole list on decorating. Well, I will make sure it's there, and then we'll make sure we have a list or a link specific to the home decor one in today's description as well. Yeah, Susie says you can do anything for 5 to 15 minutes. When it comes to decluttering, consistent 5 to 15-minute sessions make a big difference. Thank you for saying that, Susie. It's so true. Our mantra in our membership group is 5 minutes matters. When you don't feel like it, when you're low on energy, when the kids are grumbly and that's all you have that you can even stand to work with them, when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, it does. 5 minutes matters. It's more the mental benefits that we get from it, even from the physical environment change. That's great too. But yeah, it's a game changer. Habila says, we have, I love that name, by the way. We have little kids and have tried to communicate request boundary with amount of gifts. Both sets of grandparents consistently ignore this. I dread these occasions and feel disrespected. Any tips? I am so glad you brought this up today, because I actually wanted to touch on it, because we haven't talked about the influx of gifts for our kids that come in during the holidays, and it can be very stressful. So, Habla, here is what I have learned over the years is that there are two types of people in the world. There are those who want to ask you, hey, what do the kids need? They want to know, they want input. And then you tell them, like, we love experiences and consumable things, Play-Doh, bubble bath, craft supplies, and you give them some ideas and they're like, Roger that, on it. My mom and sister have been awesome with this, and I really appreciate it. And then you have the family members who are, I think, I'm not, if I'm going to make a mass generalization, giving gifts for their own satisfaction, right? I want to get the toys that I think the kids are going to love, and therefore they are going to love me more and think I am the coolest grandparent ever. And if anyone has had the situation of grandparents who are divorced or whatnot, or different things. Like sometimes it's even a competition, it feels, amongst the grandparents. Like I just remember being like, oh wow, we're doing this, huh? And so there's a lot of different dynamics at play. But here's what I had to learn. For those people that it is about them, it's not about you. And it's not even, I look at it now, I understand your feeling of being disrespected. I look at it now, I think it has nothing to do with that. I think it is all about them and how they want to feel on Christmas. And here's what is so confusing about this situation is that, our kids, when they get these big gifts, right? And they're opening them and they're like, this is the coolest ever. So what are they doing? They're giving the grandparents the reaction they were looking for. The kids are like, this is awesome, right? Because for kids, bigger is better at Christmas. It doesn't matter that we know that they will not play with the Barbie dream house a week later. That literally, it was literally that day. They played with it once and it never got played with again, right? The grandparents don't know that. They pack up and go home, or we take the stuff and leave their house. They got the reaction. They think I'm a stud, I'm a star, and of course I'm going to do that again, right? And so I don't think it's about you at all. I think it's about them, and I don't think they honestly do care. Like, if you've tried to communicate it, again, yesterday we talked about like people that don't want to understand, there's nothing you can say or do. So we try, we do our best, and then we have to like look at the data. And if they're not receptive, it is what it is. Now, okay, so that's that part of it. Then what do we do with all the stuff coming in? And so it is in our household about a week after Christmas, maybe a few days, we do a declutter. And it's like, do you want to keep the new stuff or your old favorite stuff? And sometimes they are literally decluttering new stuff. But they know, especially as they got older, like, they knew what were their favorites or not. When they were real young, sometimes I would just, like, box some stuff up and set it aside, knowing either I'll pull it out later in the winter when winters get long in Minnesota, or I'm just time testing it to see if they actually miss it or not. And if they're like, "Oh, hey, where's that new thing I got from so and so?" Then I can go and grab it out and pull it out. But once it enters your house, you get to manage that inventory however you want. And I know, again, it feels like, "Oh, but the kids are so attached to it now," and they're not. I I don't think kids are as attached to their physical stuff as they used to be. We live in a world where stuff is like the easiest commodity to come by. Now, again, we have some kids that they are more attached than others, but even then, we've been able to work out systems where it's like such a non issue now. I don't think kids are as attached as they used to be. And when we just practice this, and sometimes we get rid of a lot, sometimes we just get rid of a little, but we continue to practice it. As the parent, I'm constantly pulling stuff out and time testing it. I still do that. There's random, my mom's like, "What is this cord for?" And I'm like, "It's like some kind of remote control car. Throw it in the drawer where we put that stuff." I'm time testing it. I go through it every so often when it starts to fill up and I'm like, "This was totally forgotten about." And I chuck it or I donate it. And so you have to have the systems then when it comes in, but we don't keep stuff out of guilt. We have, things that we practice for moving it back out again. So no one can wreck my home. No one can wreck the peace in my home. They can give me all the toys at Walmart and okay, well, they're just going to come into my house and then they're going to move back out again. But also, yes, it is frustrating. It is frustrating. Why can't we all just be adults and respect each other, right? And yeah, it is frustrating. Thoughts on balancing letting go of entertaining treasures? I love to set the stage that you are not using in this season of life, but would like to use again in another season versus like putting it into your blessing bag. Yeah, great question, Michelle. I think this is where we just use the container concept. So maybe we say, like, my mom has her hutch and it's full of stuff in the bottom for entertaining. Most of it doesn't ever get used anymore, right? But maybe you just say, okay, anything that fits in here, I am going to allow myself to keep this inventory for a few more seasons. I'm going to look at the data and see if it's getting used. We just don't want boxes and boxes and boxes and stacks and stuff over here and stuff over there. We want it in one location. We want it contained and some kind of boundary around it if possible. How do I find the energy to get rid of the clutter? So, again, if you are finding yourself in this boat, which is very normal and often a symptom of our brains being overwhelmed, by the way. If you're feeling overwhelmed, your natural reaction is not, "Oh, I should go set the timer for 5 minutes and tidy up." That is a skill we learn and practice and hold each other accountable. If you are feeling overwhelmed, what do you want to do? Go zone out, go on your phone, scroll, play a game, go on social media, watch Netflix. That is the natural response that we have, right? Our brain does not go towards difficult things, it goes away, right? It's trying to preserve energy. So that's where we have these little tricks we play in games we play with ourselves, like 5 minutes manners. I'm just going to set the timer for 5 minutes and see what I can get done in that time. Is it possible to just use the To-Do app because I don't have a computer? Also, how would you use it in conjunction with the Capture and Complete planner? Yes, so many of us still use a physical planner too. So this is our Capture and Complete. So inside of our membership group, we've been designing and developing a planner to go along with it too. So these are our beautiful planners for 2026. They're the same, but two different sizes. Many of us still like to have a paper planner. There is sometimes something about brain dumping onto paper or listing it out, or I love to see the full month at a glance, and I like to see the week at a glance on paper as well. I have everything in my Google Calendar, but so we talk a lot about using it in conjunction. Just know for capturing, this is always with you. This often isn't. You're in the bathroom, you probably don't have your planner with you. And then we're like, "Oh, when I get out of the bathroom, I have to write it down." How often do we actually remember that, right? So we do talk a lot about using them in conjunction. I still try to capture everything in here. But when I just want to see the bigger picture, I want to plan more big term. I do like the we have things for brain dumping and a few other things in here. So we also actually probably something too that's been unique that we've been working on is like having a weekly meeting with your spouse, like a business meeting. And so that's something I would recommend for everyone to do, especially this time of year where you sit down and you go over the calendar. And so we have like a spot in here for business meeting notes. Like, and again, you can just do this, but appreciation, household tasks, budget items, or purchases that need to be made, calendar events coming up this week, or things that we need to talk about, like, oh, did you know this child did this, or how are we going to navigate this, right? And then something else too, we talk about like closing loops. So like as part of capturing everything, like are there any text messages that have a task in them, any emails, like that all we want to go into our master task list, not try to keep tasks in text messages and tasks in my messenger inbox and tasks in this group me app or whatever that the kids have to use for their team stuff. And so making sure we're pulling all of that into our to-do app or wherever our central location is for keeping everything to. Again, it can sound a little complicated, but it's really one of those things you gotta start doing it. Like, you really have to start doing it. So, yeah. Paper clutter is my biggest issue. How do you get it under control? So, I do have YouTube videos specific to that, but the 2 bins that we have introduced is the Time Will Tell paper bin, which is super helpful in having a clear action bin or folder. And so putting those 2, things into place, game changer, game changer. But if you just search minimal mom and paper clutter, you should find some videos that we have, and we talk about how we sort it out. We have really good systems for that too. Liquida says, how can you learn to gain control of what comes in and how much you have to get out to keep on top of things? There's so much pressure to buy things nowadays. Ugh. Yeah. Again, I think this is something that we practice. And I think we also have to recognize how much, Dana will call it your clutter threshold, how much clutter and stuff we can manage. I think we have to be really aware of how that changes in different seasons of life. Over this last 2 years, my clutter threshold was so low. I could hardly manage anything extra. I've gotten rid of so much more stuff now because I'm just like, I can't. Like I really can't. And I gave myself permission to be okay with that. We often think that the amount of stuff that we have and should have and all of that, it's like this is what a house should have and we should have in here, not realizing that it can ebb and flow, that we can be like, whoa, holy moly, I am in a super busy season, super stressful. I'm caring for aging parents. My work is really stressful. I have stressful relational things going on. I need super low inventory. I need a uniform where I don't have to use an ounce of brain power in the morning. I need my bathroom so simple that all I see are the things I need to get ready in the morning. My kitchen, I cannot have a thing on the counters because it just stresses out my brain. And if we will give ourselves permission to match the inventory to our current season of life, it's magical. And often that inventory is actually so much lower than we think that it should be. We're not good at managing stuff. It's fine. It's just our brains are not good at that. Do you keep your meal planning in the app as well? You can. I would say some of us do and some of us don't, but you can use those categories at the bottom. Absolutely, to keep your meal plan in there too. Yeah, Sue says, I love 5 minutes matters. I'm telling you, this is the tactic in our group that people be like, again, oh, Dawn was right, right? And I know I'm not the first to say this or whatever, but yeah, what it does, like the brain part behind it is that when we are feeling unmotivated, defeated, when we're ruminating on things, can you believe that they said that to me? Like, what a jerk, And it's just like going, and I should have said this. Why didn't I say that? Right. Anytime you start to feel like that, or like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get everything done for the holidays, right? If we can be like, ooh, that means I'm in the side of my brain that is like rerunning. Now, the reason we ruminate and rerun is because your brain is trying to solve that problem. Unfortunately, some of these problems are unsolvable, especially with our extended family. And so what 5 minutes matters does when we stand up and say, fine, I'm just going to set the timer for 5 minutes and I'm going to clear the counters, right? it switches us over into a different part of our brain where we can solve problems. We actually might come up with a solution for that thing, not the difficult family member, but like, how am I going to fit it all in? We become more optimistic. Nothing with our circumstances changes except our house becomes a little more tidy, hopefully, but it gets our brain back into a more of a positive framework. And so, you've experienced that where you're like, fine, I'm just going to do it, right? And you get into it, you start to feel a little bit more hopeful, a little more positive, and then you're like, okay, well, the 5 minutes, okay, now I'm going to do another 5 minutes or whatnot. Fine, I'll just sweep the floor quick. We've all experienced that. And so 5 minutes is the like, it's the get you going again and gets your brain back into a better space. Brevity of sanity. I love this from Andy is one of our coaches. Brevity of sanity. Did you get rid of the Barbie dream house? Yes. I love it. I love that so much. Yeah. Did you get rid of the toys we gave your kids last Christmas? Yes. Non-holiday question. How many clothes do you own? Like 30? I know you have your uniforms, but is that all? Trying to get to a capsule for seasons. Yeah, anytime I've counted it, it's less because I love Courtney Carver's Project 333. Anytime we've gone through it in our group and created like reset our uniform for the next season, it's always under 33. Like I don't ever hit 33. So yeah, it's definitely under 30. I don't actually know. Um, but I do get a few new pieces every season, right? And so like it stays fresh for me. Minnesota, we have very distinct seasons, so we're always rotating out our clothes. I don't know. I For right now, I just need it to be easy, and it is, and I love it. Okay, Rebecca, how do you handle questions about decluttered gifts from prior years or heirlooms? I got rid of my great aunt's punch bowl set and worry it could be noticed. My grandma brought it to me unasked. Yeah. Oh, did you get rid of Aunt Sally's punch bowl set? Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, why? Oh, we weren't using it enough to justify the space that it was taking up. Oh, well, I wish you would have asked me if I wanted it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I honestly didn't know that you would have wanted it. Next time something like that comes up, I'll be sure to offer it to you first. Any other questions? Oh, well, did you get rid of the quilt too? Yeah. Oh, well, you didn't think again, gosh, if I would have known, I will definitely offer it to you first next time. Any other questions? Right? Yeah, we're never gonna make everybody happy. Never, ever, ever, ever. Where's your calendar listed at? So right now we only have it available to those inside of our membership community. I'm still doing like I will eventually launch it out to the world. I just want it to be really tested. Like I want it to be really good. Planners kind of annoy me when people put them out and they're like, this will save your life. A planner's not going to save your life. It's not, right? It's the systems, it's the doing it every day. It's having a repeatable system that you can actually stick with. So but if you email some more support at theminimalmom.com, we can maybe see what we can do. But anyways, I don't want to just put it out there like this because like I do think you need to like fully understand the systems of how we use it to fully appreciate it. And it horrifies me to think of this becoming clutter in someone's house. I don't want to clutter up anyone's homes at all. At all. You're hearing every other word. Oh no. God, I have good internet. Ugh, that's so frustrating. And then some are like, "Mine's fine." Awesome. All right. Sometimes if you do go out and come back in again, it can be okay. How can I stop myself when my oldest daughter puts older Christmas gifts in the donation box that her younger sister still loves? I want to take them out. Yeah, that's probably just a conversation of like, oh, hey, if you know your sister is still using that, will you not? Now, but here's the caveat here. So like our one that is like really attached to things, if he sees a donation box of stuff, he'll be like, oh, I'll take that. I'll take that. So we actually, for a while, it's not like that now, we couldn't let him see the donations because he would want most things out of there. But here's the thing, he has plenty of inventory, plenty of things to play with and do. So also be aware that just because the younger sister might want it doesn't mean she should have it or that you want to manage more inventory or that she'll actually play with it consistently. If it's something she truly loves and plays with all the time, well, yes, like let's be aware of that. But otherwise, maybe it is okay to let it go. Most of our kids have way too much inventory for themselves, let alone if they're gonna if we're gonna pass stuff down. We don't even have to do a lot of passing down anymore because the younger kids are always getting their own new stuff for birthdays and Christmas and other things. All right. Let's see. If I missed any questions, if you just want to pop it in again, I know the conversation around the audio going in and out is throwing it off just a little bit. My husband grew up poor and barely got anything for Christmas. He feels very bad for our kids when I say $100 limit or 3 gifts for a child. Not sure how to work through that when I want to simplify. This might be something that you have to talk about over and over again. So actually, this was a similar dynamic with us, not necessarily because Tom grew up poor, actually more, it was probably the opposite. He remembered Christmas as this big, extravagant to do and display of gifts. And so that was just the picture he had for it and what he thought our Christmases would look like with our kids. And then, I'm coming in and I'm like, inventory clutter, so that was definitely something we had to talk a lot about and find common ground. And I had to explain where I was coming from. He had to explain where he was coming from. And then we were able to kind of keep moving it down. And so conversations around it and also helping, to explain our kids have such a different relationship with stuff these days than we did when we were growing up. And also, I'm not sure too if you could, Emily, share with him what we're learning around the 5 love languages for kids and do that with him and say, oh, hey, there's this really cool tool I'm learning and I want to be really intentional this year. And sometimes knowing you're going to do other meaningful things helps then to be like, okay, well, if we're doing those things, then yes, I would feel more comfortable with scaling back the gifts too. I often feel like if they feel like we have a plan and a strategy, then they're much more cooperative. Where do those with the membership find the planner? So we have sent out an email about it. The free printable version is in the printables and the files section. So that's already available to you. And then there is an email. We linked it in last week's daily videos, and we'll talk about it more coming up this week in our daily videos as well. We'll make sure, Amy Jo, that you don't miss it. Anyone in our group that wants one, we'll make sure that you get it. Are you making new holiday traditions now that your kids are older? Last year, I kind of said I didn't even have the bandwidth for a minute to win at games, let alone new traditions. And now this year, yes, I'm excited about that again. Minute to win at games definitely are something that it's something we've always kind of done, but we really want to have some really good ones this year. And Adeline's going to help me and whatnot. And so I'm really excited about that. We also shared last year, or someone had shared the idea of doing a candlelit dinner for Christmas Eve. And so I had last year got a bunch of battery operated candles. I'm like, we're going to do this. And I'm like, the heck we are. Right. And it's fine. Right. And so that's still something that I would want to try this year. Also making, when we're putting up the tree and decorating, doing a little more around that and making that more fun. So yes, those are some of the things that I'm thinking about. Can you talk about Aura tools besides the ring might help us now? Yeah, I guess I don't know much else besides the ring. So the ring I've been wearing is an Aura ring. They're an investment. I just got the cheapest one I could. And then this is a silicone cover on it. They make colored ceramic ones now. The data it gives you is really cool, I think, especially for women, and just sleep and activity levels and other things. And so I have found it very helpful, but I do think a year ago, I don't think it would have been helpful, So I do think that you got to know yourself in your season of life. If you're wanting to invest in your health and learning some of this stuff, I would recommend it. If not, again, it's a pretty expensive ring if you're not going to make use of the data that comes along with it. For the love languages, do we find them out for sure by having our older children, hubby too, doing a quiz? Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know them, I would have them do it too. I just think this is so valuable this time of year. And just Google love languages quiz and you'll see. They also have ones for, what was it called, for how you receive criticism or correction, that I'm actually kind of want to go through some of those as well. I think it would be pretty cool.
I've really been enjoying this time with you. Oh no, we're at the end of our week together. I feel a little bit sad about this. I've really been enjoying this time with you, and mostly though, I hope that you feel like you have a good grasp on the holidays and that you have a game plan. And if you would like to spend a little more time together, of course, I want to invite you to join us in A Well-Run Home, our membership community. We have so much fun in there. It is just the coolest, kindest group of women that you'll ever meet. And many of the women, we've been doing this for 6 years now, and there's a large chunk of women women that have been in there since the beginning. And I just really feel like we have it dialed in. We know the systems that work. We know how to help you get your home under control. And do you know what the cool thing is? It's not gonna take as long as you might think that it will. When you have the right skills and tools and a safe group to practice it with, that makes all the difference in the world. You're gonna feel better and more confident. Your family's gonna notice the difference very quickly. And man, that just feels so good. So I really want that for you, and I hope we can spend more time together. But all of the replays are available. You can go back and watch them anytime, and also not too late to share this with your friends and family as well. I love you. I hope you have an awesome holiday season, and I'll see you again soon.